Welcome to the Noon Nerd Herd, a place where an average person, a business owner, or a tech geek can ask any questions related to tech or cybersecurity. I'm Rebecca Heaton, managing partner of Trumbull Tech, an MSP bringing proactive IT services specifically to small business. Today, I'm joined with my fellow colleagues, our resident CISSP and cybersecurity expert, Elmer Robinson. We need to start getting sound effects, Elmer, so I can do a little applause, right?
Or a drum crash.
Exactly. And we also have our very own Aaron Sullivan, our systems engineer and cyber intern, who, by the way, was just distinguished with having 100% smile back for year to date, which is an amazing recognition. For those of you that don't know, that basically means any service ticket we've received in for year to date, he has not only exceeded or done expectations, but actually exceeded expectations for all of our clients at 100%. So that is amazing. So thank you very much, Elmer. And now getting to the good part. Today, we are so excited to have Natalie Suarez as our guest today. She has extensive experience working with DoD, Perch, ConnectWise, even a short time with yours truly, Trumbull Tech. And now she is with our vendor partner, Huntress. She is here to bring some of the latest cyber threats that relate to AI and see what's going on with the front lines. So welcome home, Natalie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's good to have you back, Natalie.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know where we want to kick off exactly, but I guess maybe the first question could be, what are you noticing? Because the kind of AI obviously is the big, word that everybody's using for everything. So what would you say that you've noticed from even a year ago? What are kind of the differences in the threat actors and what they're kind of trying to do in using AI?
Well, I know from working here at Huntress with some of our great, did you realize our team is called DEATH, Detection, Engineering, and Threat Hunting? Is not the coolest name of a team ever?
Yeah.
So cool.
It's like they're hackers, but on the right side of things, right?
Well, they are hackers on the right thing. They are hackers on the right side of things. We're seeing a lot of vibe coding happening in, threats. Where, you guys know, I was a prior software developer and vibe coding just scares me to death. But what do you have to lose if you're vibe coding for malicious purposes, right?
Can you stop for a second? What is vibe coding?
Just using AI to write code for you.
Okay.
Saying, hey, do this thing. Hey,
poorly, usually, right? Poorly.
Oh,
so like the average person going into AI and saying, hey, write me this script or this code or whatever.
Yeah. Write me a PowerShell script, write me, write me a script to go through this list of usernames and passwords that I bought on the dark web and, try to break in places.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really highlights what I've seen as a long-term trend, which is the cost of entry to be a bad guy continues to come down and down and down and down. And as a result, there's a proliferation of malicious actors and new techniques and new technologies. In the old days, to be a bad guy, it really required technical skill. You had to be a programmer, you had to be a coder, you had to spend your life in the basement, with a hoodie on in a dark room, writing scripts. And all of that's done for you. There was a trend where companies began providing these services to do these things. But consider now with AI and the level of automation that comes to what used to be a brute force attack, something like password spraying, where a malicious actor takes a list of commonly used passwords and just blasts that against a list of accounts that they're targeting.
And that's a really simple script. That's not they have nothing to lose by automating something like that, writing their own script with a vibe coding their own script.
Yeah, that used to be an intimidating kind of an effort, even for a malicious actor.
Yeah.
But now that is so automated. There's so much intelligence behind it. They can just literally say, do this, and AI will do it for them.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting, Elmer, is random musings in Natalie's brains. I'm going to subject all of you to this. I wonder if it has yet, or if it's going to affect the bottom line for these threat actors who provide phishing as a service or ransomware as a service. I wonder if there's going to be less affiliates buying these things. I mean, I haven't seen that yet, but I just wonder, you know?
I wonder, it's almost like it might be a good thing.
Yeah. It's really interesting with AI. And the thing to note too is it's not hard to fool the guardrails of an innocent AI, right? I mean, I do it all the time, not to hack, but to say, hey, I want to provide this educational material. Could you craft some realistic looking phishing emails? Or, and all you have to do is say, hey, I'm doing this for training purposes, or say, hey, maybe whoever I'm attacking, their primary language is French or Spanish or whatever. Super easy for me to tell the AI, okay, now that you've done that, can you translate that to another language?
Exactly. Or can you make this email sound like this person? Can you
like
make
Rebecca,
my email sound like it's coming from XYZ? Yeah. So there's a new level of sophistication that's present there. And you mentioned training, and I think it highlights to me kind of the idea that it's not really possible to build a perfect wall around your environment to keep the bad guys out, because one, they're leveraging new technologies at an exponential rate. And it's just the white hat good guys efforts are almost always a little lagging behind. So the bad guys seem to be driving at the forefront. And two, there's always the human element. And no matter how many technologies and sophisticated tools we bring to the defense effort, there can always be someone inside that gets an email with a link and they click on the link. And so I feel like I've almost come to the point that the very first thing you should be doing within your organization before you do antivirus is train your people.
Oh, definitely.
Cybersecurity awareness and training and getting your people to have this at top of mind is probably the single most important thing you can do, and probably the best investment you can make in terms
very
of
cost effective.
I would also say, because you did mention antivirus, I mean, I would even say for like our tech stack, for example, right? I mean, part of it is to have the correct tools on your system so that if someone does click on something or something just happens to get maliciously, in your computer somehow, that you have the correct tools that are going to identify those threats and as quickly as possible. I know, Aaron, we just had a client, we won't mention names obviously, but we just had this happen within a few weeks ago where someone got in, or they clicked on the wrong thing, somebody got in, but if it weren't for you getting in a timely manner to have noticed that happened, the whole system would have been ransomware versus so I think that's part of it too, is it's not just about having an IT provider or whatever that they're going to protect you 100%, because like you said, nobody can do that, right? I mean, you can build the tallest wall and the biggest moat, but that's just not reality. But you do need to have the correct tools on your device, so that, and that's part of what Huntress does for us, and that even the security awareness training, like all of that together is what your defense is. So
and it's so powerful because we've spoken about this so many times about comparing EDR to antivirus and why it's so much better, but I'll say it one more time and get on my soapbox, but it's analyzing a behavioral pattern rather than looking at software code. Because you can't, like Elmer was saying, you cannot keep up anymore. It is exponential. I believe that was Elmer that said that. And what EDR is doing is instead saying like, hey, monitoring user behavior, this doesn't match the pattern that we've been seeing over the last couple of months. The login location, the login time, or the behavior that we're seeing here, it doesn't line up. And because of that, we're going to investigate further. And it's so much faster. I mean, you said that we had that client that had an issue, and luckily we were able to handle it so fast. But we were able to handle it so fast because EDR is fast, because it's able to step in before I'm even on the phone,
Yeah.
and like I remember with that specific client reaching out to them maybe 5 minutes after Huntress notified us, within 5 minutes of Huntress notifying us, and they were, they're still on D-Day. You know what I mean? Like as soon as I pick up the phone, they're still in panic mode because it is active. It just happened, and so it's fast, and I have to keep harping on it. It is, use it. I highly
Yeah.
recommend EDR, whatever vendor you can get it from. It's powerful. It's the best tool we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's really true. That's really true. EDR is a great tool to have in your cyber toolbox. And I mean, it's no secret that I'm with Huntress, but some of the things that we've done recently, recent releases in the EDR, are really to help stop the user from clicking on those things. Like, for instance, on the Mac OS side, we have a new improvement where we call it deceptive installer. You get an installer, it looks like it's something, maybe it's a driver, well, not driver, but maybe it's maybe it is, maybe it's an audio driver for a Zoom call or something. Maybe, and we actually will detect that that's malicious and eject it so the user can't even click on it and install it, right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Or there have been attacks where, you think you're downloading the Zoom driver, but you're really downloading a free version of an RMM. And for those on the call who don't know what an RMM is, that's a remote management and monitoring tool that is typically used by managed service providers and also large enterprises to deploy tools to manage endpoints, right? To deploy tools to endpoints of their customers or their internal infrastructure. And we call that living off the land, where threat actors will maliciously use legitimate tools to try to stay under the radar. But we can detect things like that, like illegitimate use of legitimate tools. Hey, why all of a sudden do we have 9 different RMMs running in this environment when there were never any before?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what we saw, by the way. When in this example that we're talking about, it was a malicious RMM attempting to establish, what we refer to in the industry as persistence, trying to hide itself as a lawful, authorized, program. And again, antivirus is going to look at that and say, hey, it's called this. This is a real program. This is good. We're not going to do anything about this because it looks real. But and Huntress, that's exactly what Huntress caught. It was saying, hey, this isn't supposed to be here. This is, and why would 9 of them be installed in the last 2 minutes? No human being's going to do that on their computer. So they knew it was automated, and they were able to lock it down.
And this is an important point, I think. When you look at it, if you give a little bit of thought to the list of organizations that to have been hacked, just the headlines, NASA, the Pentagon, Microsoft, Hewlett Packard. I mean, every major government and tech company has had some sort of a compromise. And do you want to think that NASA was not running antivirus software? I think NASA was running antivirus software. And so if it's possible for malicious actors to enter that environment when they're running those kinds of protections, then I'm not advising anyone to uninstall their antivirus software, but you have to acknowledge that the bad guys have got past antivirus software easily for decades, and they do it exactly the way Natalie just described, by riding along with approved processes and systems. They get in by using tools that are approved to run on the network. components that are built into Windows that can't be disabled, approved applications that are coming from an outside vendor. All of these things are going to ride free on the network. And that's where the bad guys live these days. And that's how NASA can become compromised, even though you know they're running some antivirus software. So don't uninstall your antivirus software, but you have to have behavior monitoring tools that watch the environment from a 30,000 foot perspective and look for oddball behaviors, because that's the only way you'll know when the bad guys, not if the bad guys, but when the bad guys get in.
So I feel like we've kind of scared everybody with all these AI threats.
Why do we always do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's my role, is to like bring it back, how like positive out of all of this, right? Yeah. Which kind of gets me to, we actually do have a question that was presented in LinkedIn. And it says, Natalie, if you could get every business owner to stop doing one thing tomorrow, what would it be?
Oh gosh.
So kind of like, let's bring it to what are some tips for like
stop doing one thing
to think about, to try to prevent these AI attacks.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I mean, it's hard to say one thing. But oh gosh, there's so many things. How do I narrow it to one?
Running out of time.
Yeah, security awareness training. Let's say security awareness training. I mean, let's be realistic though. There has to be defense in depth, which means multiple tools at different layers to catch different things. But the reason I'm going to say security awareness training is because as humans, we need a few things. We need to know, number one, we need to slow down. If your spidey sense goes off, and it's so funny, even people who've clicked on malicious things will go, I felt something was wrong. When you feel something is wrong, stop.
It is.
It is. Something is wrong. If someone needs gift cards right away, if someone needs you to transfer money right away, if someone needs to change where money goes, if someone needs you to immediately change your Microsoft password, or the apocalypse is going to be here. That's the one thing the bad guys haven't changed with AI. They're always trying to rush you. Take a moment, slow down, do your security awareness training so you know what the latest threats are that are coming. Again, this is probably a spoiler alert, but I really want to share it. One of the latest, can I share this? Because people heard security awareness training with Huntress may know to look for it now. So one of the latest phishing lures that we're doing through the Huntress security awareness training is things we're seeing. We do things you're going to see in the real world. One of those things we're seeing in the real world is random meeting invites with AI participants. So that is one of the phishing tests we're doing right now. These things happen, right?
That's huge. It has happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it does happen. It could be, there a lot. Gosh, it's been over a year now, maybe even over 2 years. Remember the one in Hong Kong where they sent millions and millions of dollars to a bad guy, where only one person in the meeting was real and everyone else was AI generated?
Yeah.
I did learn
the real guy was the guy that sent the money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The real guy who sent the millions and millions of dollars. I did learn on one of the Huntress webinars that if you have them put 3 fingers in front of their face, you can tell if somebody is fake or not.
Yeah.
But,
I like that. I haven't heard that before. Yeah.
I guess it just, I don't know, by now, gosh, that was like a couple months ago.
Who knows?
Bad guys have probably figured a way around that by now.
I would think just in general, like if you're not, it's almost like instead of trust then verify, it should be verify then trust, right?
Yeah.
If you're not expecting an email from someone or they're asking for information,
weird like stuff,
there doesn't need to be that sense of, and I feel like, not to get into a female versus male, but I feel like women are more likely to want to appease and like please and like, oh, somebody's asking.
Except for us, Rebecca.
Like, except for us, exactly. Like most like other women, like there's this sense of, oh, someone's asking me for something, I need to give it to them. And it's like, no, you don't. Like
you don't. You need to say no.
Wait, who is this person? Why? Because I've even gotten requests for meetings, and like they're on my no, they're not on my calendar yet, but they're like requests for meetings. I'm like, I've never talked to this person before.
I know.
I'm like, I delete it, I get rid of it. So it's like, I'm not even going to respond going, what is this? It's like,
Wow.
I know I don't have a meeting with you. So,
Right.
anyway,
yeah, you just need to slow down and think about it. If like I said, if your spidey sense is tingling, something's probably wrong, right?
Yeah.
If someone needs you to change the payment information, don't call the phone number in that email or ask the person on the phone what number you can call them back at. Call the number of the bank or call the number of the vendor that you know, someone you know, right?
Yeah.
You know, if someone's pushing you to change a password on your Zoom or your Microsoft Office or your Google Workspace, you know how to change that password without clicking on their janky link.
I would also say too, if you're a business and someone's asking you for those things as well, if you have an MSP provider, reach out to them before. You should never be resetting anything or doing anything someone else is asking outside of your MSP provider. So that right there should be just automatically send it over to your IT team is like, hey, they're asking for this.
Or giving someone access to your computer. Microsoft will never call you and want to log into your computer ever.
I've said that to a client recently. I think I've actually quoted that to someone where I was like, unless it's me asking for remote access to your device, say no to everybody else. Like, you know, unless it is literally me with my voice, I'm here, don't do this because I'm the only one that should be asking for that. Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, I can't even show them my face on camera because that might be AI generated now.
Actually, that was going to be another tip that I have heard recently as well as voicemails, right? Because there's so many deep fakes and people using your voice. And so if you are like, if you're an HR person or you know, have a particular role that is announced in public a lot, you don't want to use your own voice within your voicemail. Like make it a standard voicemail or make your assistant or someone else in the company, you have it for your voicemail so that they can't get your voice through those types of scenarios. So I thought that was actually, that's like a real life takeaway today and go do, right? Like that's a pretty easy thing to do. Obviously, you know, we have these educasts, so our voices are recorded out there. You can't do that.
The robots know of us. Yeah.
But just be thinking about those types of things. Like, where are you putting your information?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, you know, it's hard when you're in a professional setting because it's, you know, it's honestly, it's easy to stay away from sharing or putting stuff on Facebook or Instagram that you don't want shared with everybody because you limit your groups. But it's not as easy when you're putting your information on LinkedIn for professional purposes, right?
Yep.
Because if I'm a bad guy, the first thing I'm going to do before I craft an email to you is I'm going to go look at your LinkedIn. I'm going to see where you work. I'm going to see what you do. I'm going to look at your posts. Some people post about their families on LinkedIn, you know?
Yep.
And I'm going to use that information against you. And it's very easy to do with AI.
Especially given that the trend now too is having video, right? Having video as social posts, whether it's LinkedIn or whatever for your business, like that. We're going through that right now where we're trying to do more video.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, but the more video we do, the more it's our voice out there, which is more, you know, like it's kind of
just randomly do this.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's me. That's funny. All right, so let's do a rapid fire round. Are you ready? And this could be for maybe it's for each of you.
Okay.
All right. Biggest cybersecurity myth.
Multi-factor authentication will always save you.
Good.
It'll never happen to me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm too small. You know, that's my favorite thing. I'm too small.
Those are great. Most overrated security tool.
Antivirus.
Antivirus.
I have to go with it. I want to come up with something clever, but it's antivirus. Yeah.
I mean, it
I
still has
thought
its
for
place.
sure you would have said MFA, Natalie. Based on-
No, because there's different kinds of MFA. So
Sure.
really good MFA, is harder to break.
And I feel like antivirus almost was so successful it sealed its fate. Like it's almost driven virus type. It's
It
a
still
pattern
catches
matching
stuff.
tool. Yeah, it's a pattern matching tool.
Yeah.
So it's got a list of bad code and it watches for that bad code to come in. And I think it's done such a good job that nobody uses any of that bad code anymore.
I
And
feel
so
like-
it's become less and less
Yeah.
effective, while EDR has really behavior monitoring tools. But I wouldn't uninstall my antivirus anytime soon.
No.
No.
No. It does still catch things.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just
It's
kind of
still
like
protecting
mail,
you.
like mail versus, email or texting or
Yeah.
DMing or whatever. It's like it's
Yeah.
still around and needed, but it's
Yeah.
not the most effective or
I
efficient.
mean, it's still brick one in the tech stack, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it still has to be there as
Yeah.
step one, but it doesn't do as much for you as a product like Huntress EDR does.
We're getting off track. Rapid fire round. Remember?
Rapid.
Yeah.
All right. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I went
Okay.
down
Keep us
that
in
rabbit
line.
hole with you.
Keep
Sorry.
us in line.
Okay, most underrated security tool.
I
Tool.
think security awareness training is the most underrated tool.
Security
And I
awareness.
think it's one of the most powerful. I
Yeah.
mean, ours is science backed. It's short episodes, and they do have some humor to them. I'm not going to lie; they are cartoons, but it's fact based. It's what's happening now.
And we
one of the
actually
least
do that.
expensive
We
things
do
you
that
can do.
program at Trumbull for our employees, and I know some of the more of the tech guys think it's a little cheesy. I think it's fun. I like it.
I like it. I think it's
You're not
it's like
sitting there
it's-
going. You're not dreading it. It's
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And what's the
entertaining.
alternative, right? That it's dry and boring and reading a textbook. Like I'll take cheesy and cartoony over just words on a page.
Right.
Totally love and fear Dee Dee.
Okay. Password manager. Love it or hate it?
Love it.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Yep.
I can't
Look
imagine.
forward to the day when
I think the
when we
user
don't-
hates it, but
Yeah.
it is necessary, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Solves
I
the
love
problem.
it as a user. It helps me change my passwords. It's easier to
I
change my
mean-
passwords that way.
I agree.
A good tool makes it much better.
Yeah. I will be honest, when we started using Bitwarden, I was like, Aaron, because you were helping me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my gosh,
How'd I live
it's
without
so
this?
much easier.
Yeah.
Like once you get past that learning curve of, it's awesome. It's so
Sometimes
much
I wonder. I have conspiratorial thoughts about password managers sometimes, where I'm like, okay, so I've made all of my important accounts have these random unrememberable passwords, and I remember my master password, and my password manager is the source of truth for everything else. For the rest of my life, I have to use a password manager now. It's an insurmountable task for me to untangle my accounts from this password manager. I'd have to take all of my passwords out, keep an Excel sheet of them, and change them all to something I can remember manually one at a time. And I'm wondering if these password manager companies out there are all like doing rituals in their
Gotcha.
basement or something. Yeah, they're like once they get one of us, we'll always have them.
Don't listen to Aaron, everyone. But the best invention is sliced bread.
I actually have, okay, so I would love your expert opinions on this. So with my master password, I actually,
What is it? Could you tell me?
I'm not telling you.
What is your dog's name?
Okay, so maybe not my master password, but like, for example, on payroll and different, like really like QuickBooks and different platforms like that, I will, like anything that's financial related, whatever, I will save that password in Bitwarden, but I will add something that only I know to add to it. So basically, you know how it populates for you? And then at the end,
I like
I
that.
will add I'm not going to tell you how many things because it's public forum here. But, and so in my mind, that helps me feel like that's an extra layer of security, because if for some reason, you know,
I like that.
people
That's
get
smart.
hacked, then my stuff's not completely compromised, at least for the
Oh,
financial.
so you don't save the part in the password manager?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Correct.
whoa, look
So
at
like,
you.
that's a
again,
brilliant
I'll
idea.
just add like a few more things when I get to that website, because I know that it's saving the big chunk of it, but I'll just add. What do you guys think?
That's a brilliant idea. I have not heard that before, and that's
Yeah.
genius. I think that's
Yeah.
genius. But I
Hey,
will.
anytime you
say
say
this.
genius to me, Elmer, I'm gonna take it. I'm so glad
I'm
this
all
is
in on
recorded.
that. I'm all in on that. I love it. But I will say, with regards to password managers and the security of the stored information, that a good tool is going to use a double-blind encryption so that they can't see the data in any way.
Right.
Yep.
And you have to remember that, because if you screw it up, you can't call them and ask them to put it back, because they can't get to it. The data is encrypted to them. And so if the bad guys steal all of the data that is in the database for instance, the tool we use, it would do them no good, because there'd be no way for them to get to those passwords or to get to that data. Even the company's own technical support engineers can't get to it, because it's double encrypted with keys that they don't have access to. So the right tool does answer that problem. So I'll just throw that in. Yeah.
That's a
With
good
check,
point.
'cause
We
it's
have
got-
we have another question. What is password spraying attack? I guess we said we went through it, but it's like, what actually is password spraying?
So what happens is, you think of a brute force attack as when a bad guy has a list of usernames and passwords, and he just rotates through those. And the issue is, so I have a username, and normally we have conditional access policies, right? And that says, hey, if say the username is Bob, if Bob attempts to log in 5 times with the wrong password, or 3 times, we're going to lock Bob out, right? So to avoid that, what they do is they take these lists of commonly used passwords, because people who aren't using password managers still use commonly known passwords, right? And they rotate the passwords across multiple usernames to avoid things like automatic account lockout. And they do this automatically. They do this, either they have a script or they're vibe coding a script. And so this is happening very quickly. And we have seen those attacks where attackers are successful getting in using password spraying.
Well, and the lists are pretty commonly available. A Google search will easily get you to the top 500 passwords in use.
You don't even have to be on the dark web. You could just do a Google search.
Yeah.
I'd honestly, if I were looking at generic passwords to do a password spray, what I would do is I would look at people that have outdated OSs, because if they have outdated OSs, chances are they probably are using more common.
They're missing other things, right? Yeah.
Or people who haven't locked down their network, so the access to your firewall is available. The access to your VPN is available. You can, because again, you can find that on the regular internet, right? Shodan.
There's exactly. Shogun's a search tool that you can surface those things. And the bad guys, if you want to, we've talked mostly, I think, in terms of password spraying about personal accounts, but Natalie just opened up a can of worms in regards to network devices and all of those access points, because how many routers and firewalls have the default admin password? And
even in businesses or personal.
Yeah. And the search tool that Natalie was just talking about is a tool that easily surfaces that. So if you want to find all of the Linksys routers that have outdated firmware and a default admin password, you can Google that on the internet with a particular tool, and you can get the list and target that list. So it's super easy to do. And it's another level of like password exposure, if you will, risk to the organization that you really have to think about and look at carefully. Yeah.
Right.
What do you do about that?
Well, you need to hide behind your firewall, and you need to configure your firewall properly. You need to change default usernames and passwords immediately. And
that's on like your Wi-Fi network. So for like some of our smaller businesses, when you buy a router and that comes with that standard password that's on the label, you can log into a website that accesses that router and change that default password, because that default password can be found.
Yeah, even a small business should have a firewall.
Yeah.
Right. And no, changing the port number does not make you more secure. It just means that the bad guy has to type a few extra characters. And let's face it, bad guys are lazy. These adversaries are lazy. If you're offering up open access to your firewall or to your wireless access point, and the neighboring small business is not, who is going to get hit first?
Yeah, you're the low-hanging fruit for these guys.
You don't want to be the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
You don't want to just be the person that has your door locked. You want to be the person that has the bars on your window and alarm and everything else, right?
And the dog that has a really mean bark, like I do, just really puts you to death.
So this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate everybody's time and input, and I think it was just a very free-flowing conversation. I'm going to close with, imagine you're speaking directly to every small business owner. What's the one cybersecurity action they should take before they go home today? Like something they can immediately do to help protect their business.
Implement a
what's
password
a
manager?
pick? Yeah, right.
I know it's very hard because I have way more than one, but
exactly.
I think
Top three.
Password manager, security awareness training, and good MFA, which means not a text code on your phone. It means like a hardware token or passkeys.
Yeah.
We don't have time to explain all that, so you'll have to come back.
Yep. Elmer, what do you think?
Man, tough question.
Yeah.
I'm going to come down on the side of make sure your passwords are right, because we just ended with that discussion about how easy it is to find wrong passwords on your devices and in your accounts. So I would maybe throw in backup your data. Like if it's not a cybersecurity necessarily discussion. If you get hacked, your data backup's going to be your best friend. And it should be a fundamental part of your business continuity planning anyway.
Great. Elmer or Aaron?
I would say if I had to pick, you guys have all picked. Of course, you made me go last. You guys have all picked all the things. What's left? I think something I would recommend is don't have device level admin unless you really, really know that you need it. A lot of people, a lot of small businesses and enterprise level businesses, no one likes to not be allowed to do something on their device. No one likes to go to install something and be told you need admin access to do this and you can't do it. And everyone's going to say, you know what, I trust myself, right? I trust myself. I don't trust
myself, Aaron.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. That's exactly what I was just going to say. You know, it's because first on the one level, it's not the user that needs to be trusted. It's the attacker who gets access to your account. You know, that's what you need to be asking yourself. But on the other hand, do you trust yourself? You shouldn't. You know, like we just talked about before, we can make the biggest, strongest, highest walls. And if someone opens the drawbridge, it doesn't matter, you know? So I think I would say if you don't need device level admin, get rid of it.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing, Rebecca?
Of course.
What I would say is the most important thing is that you do something. Don't be overwhelmed because there is a lot you could do. Work with a professional like Trumbull Tech and let them, advise you. And, these guys know what they're talking about. And Rebecca, you know me, guys means everybody. They know what they're talking about. Get get professional advice. You probably get professional financial advice. You probably get professional insurance advice. Why don't you get professional cybersecurity advice?
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
amen.
Most
I
important thing is
appreciate
getting
the plug, Natalie.
Yeah.
Always looking out.
I mean it. I mean
Yep.
it.
Well, cybersecurity is an existential question. This is no longer an issue of productivity. Your business could disappear if you get this
Right.
wrong.
Yeah. It needs to be a line item on your budget, period. Just
Do
like rent or
something.
utilities. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. Natalie, pleasures. You're always welcome here. You're
Thank you.
like family to us. So we appreciate your time today and love Huntress and so happy for you that you're there. And we hope that everyone was able to walk away with some tips that you can implement today. And we'll see you all next month. We have a special guest, Ben Patazine with ADP, where we will be discussing the latest payroll phishing attempts, protections to put in place, and more. So be making a list of any questions, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. Great seeing you
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye
Bye.
all.